What's standing out?
Okay, let's get to the most important thing. First of all, the company is cutting its forecast for deliveries for the full year. As we know, Tesla had seen about 55,000 deliveries of its Model S and its yet to be introduced Model X SUV. Now it says it's a range of 50 to 55,000 vehicles. The company says it's still on track to introduce that Model X SUV at the end of the third quarter. But the deliveries number for this quarter that just reported, the second quarter, 11,532. It says the number in the third quarter should be 12,000. But again, it is cutting the forecast for the full year. Deliveries is really what people have been focusing on for Tesla, both a question of how many cars can the company produce and what is the actual demand out there. Now I'm seeing a number that the second quarter production was actually 12,807 vehicles. That was the production. The deliveries were just over 11,000. The company's loss coming in a little bit smaller than had been estimated. But again, Emily, it's really that deliveries number that's important. And the shares are down. They've been gyrating a little bit, but down, call it 5-6% in the after hours after rallying about 21% for the year to date.
Interesting also, Model X production, they're saying challenges with that production could slow down output for the Model S. Eric, I want to bring you in here. What's the significance of this?
The Model X is going to be a critical vehicle for Tesla. We're seeing the utility segment is on fire right now. It's in big growth mode in a growing industry. It's very important for Tesla to nail this Model X deliverable. And it's already 2 years delayed, so they need to get this product out as soon as they can.
Steve, what do you make of all this, given the diversification of products we're seeing at Tesla, from the cars and the different models to now the battery, which is still not out yet, but they're taking orders?
For the battery, excuse me, sir, go ahead.
It's okay.
Steve, go ahead.
Thank you. The point of reducing the forecast, the sales forecast this year, I personally don't think it would have been very hard for the company to beat its original forecast, 55,000. And I think what it has to do is just sell the same number of X's that it sells of the S. It can still do that. I think that it is setting itself up to have a blowout fourth quarter and go ahead and meet the original production target. But what Elon Musk is doing, I think, is he is stepping back. He's showing that he's far more flexible in terms of how he's going to meet his targets, meet his 2020 targets. Remember, he's seeking to sell 500,000 cars a year by then. So he's going into new chemistries. He's bringing in new products. He's hiring very, very good battery technologists. I think the year to look at this year will be all right, but the year to look at is next year when he's going to come out with a prototype for the Model 3 during the summer.
Right. And Julie, we're still getting some new headlines here. Tesla also saying that it's testing the ability of various suppliers. What else is jumping out at you right now? Also saying they're increasing investments in China, which is potentially a huge market for Tesla, if indeed, the strong trend that they're seeing there is continuing.
And what you were saying about testing ability of many suppliers seems to speak to the company saying that Model X production challenges could slow work on the Model S. Another headline that caught my eye has to do with pricing. The company says the third quarter Model S average sales price, it predicts it will drop by more than 100 basis points. So interesting there that it's seeing a little bit of perhaps pricing pressure when it comes to the Model S.
Eric, Tesla's been pouring more and more money into China. What is your outlook for the China market in particular?
Well, we've just seen warnings this week from Toyota and BMW about the slowdown in China, some of the macroeconomic factors there impacting sales. In fact, if we see sales flat this year, it'll be the first time we've seen flat sales in China for 17 years. So it's something that automakers around the globe are paying particular attention to and could have a big negative impact for brands that are dependent on the Chinese market for growth, such as Tesla.
Tesla also now saying they plan to reveal the design for the Model 3 in the first quarter. Steve, what can you tell us, Eric, what can you tell us about the Model 3?
Model 3 is expected to come in 2018, assuming there are no hiccups with the production there. This is the everyman Tesla, they're calling it. It's very important to transition that brand from being a niche performance luxury automaker into a mass market vehicle. It's all hinging on this vehicle that's in that sweet spot in the estimated to be $40,000 to $50,000 pricing range, which is right around where we see a lot of the competitors on the gas engine counterpart with the 3 Series and the C-Class and some of those competitive vehicles.
So they're talking a lot about production challenges, about operational challenges for deliveries now in the fourth quarter. Steve, I want to talk to you about production of the battery and the Gigafactory. Obviously, Tesla's been buying up land around the Gigafactory. What does all this mean for the success of this battery?
Using that as a pivot point, the ability of Tesla to pivot from its niche status now into a major car maker relies on the Gigafactory, on the batteries, being able to bring down the price of the batteries significantly. And if Tesla could end up on the factory floor, remember the Concorde, Tesla could end up as this very, very good car that everyone thought a lot of, but that never reached its potential because it was unable to bring down the price. The Model 3 is its proving.
You're comparing Tesla to the Concorde?
I'm saying
seems
it could
a little
end
bit
up
extreme.
No. It could end up as the Concorde if it doesn't bring its price down. Tesla has to bring down the price of the car. The Model 3 has to come down between, actually not 40 or 50, between 30 and 40. If it can do that, it will break into the mass market. Then it will be a success.
I wonder, though, if there were some safety issues with the Concorde that Tesla certainly doesn't appear to have at this point. Steve, closing thoughts on Tesla. Of course, we're continuing to watch the headlines roll in. We'll be listening to the call coming up in just a few moments, listening to any color that Elon Musk has to add to all of these points we've mentioned. But, Steve, what is the number one thing that you're going to be listening for?
Well, what...
Eric, excuse me. Eric, what is the number one thing you're going to be listening for?
I'm really curious to see when that Model X will launch. I think in the immediate term, the Model X is critical to them closing out the year successfully. As I mentioned before, it's a growing segment. But I've also heard a lot of reports about Model S owners that are really anticipating and waiting for their Model X. And we'll see how long this enthusiastic owner base for Teslas can actually wait until they might either keep that Model S that they already have and cancel a Model X purchase or move on to another alternative vehicle that might satisfy their utility needs.